In today's video, I'm going to have a discussion with a couple of public safety officials that I met with a couple of months ago when I first reviewed the new DJI M30T Enterprise drone. And they drove up here to visit with me after watching my initial review because they were looking to purchase a new Enterprise drone for public safety, for fire and police and all kinds of other things like that. So after they visited with me, they went back home and they actually ordered the M30T. So they've had it for a while now. They've been using it. They've been training with it. And so I just thought it would be a good idea to visit with them and get their opinion on the M30T and if the investment was worth it for them. And so we have a Zoom meeting scheduled for here in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and record that meeting and you guys can listen in. And if you guys have any questions after watching this about the M30T or about how they're going to use it, they've been very helpful. I've had questions for them and I can reach out to them anytime. So if you guys are looking to get something like this for your organization, you know, if you work in public safety of any kind, just let me know in the comments, like if you have any questions and I can pass it on to them, or hopefully, you know, I can answer them, or I can reach out to DJI, because I think, you know, this is a pretty big investment. And I think it's good for you guys to hear from someone that actually has purchased it, somebody that's using it, you know, not on a daily basis, but on a regular basis. They've been training with it. And I think that's going to be really valuable for you guys. So anyway, here's the discussion with the Stutsman County Sheriff's Office. And I'll come back and just have a few closing remarks after the interview. All right, so here I have the team from Stutsman County Sheriff's Office. And guys, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Casey Young. I'm with Stutsman County Sheriff's Office. I've been with this agency for a little over 11 years. And I've been flying drones for, I suppose, about 3-4 years.
All right.
I'm Riley Schaefer. I formerly worked with the Sheriff's Office for about a year. So I have a little bit of a law enforcement background. I took a new job here, staying with Stutsman County as the Assistant Emergency Manager. Been flying a drone now for a few years. So.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for joining me today, guys. The reason that I wanted to bring you guys on is because you guys have the M30T and you purchased the M30T after driving up here to visit with me and take a look at it. So I know that you guys were thinking about getting some aerial support for your department. And so what kind of prompted your department to consider purchasing the M30T over all of the other options out there when it comes to enterprise or commercial type drones?
So I guess from my standpoint, what sold me on the M30T was we have a Mavic 2 Enterprise. Okay. And we're a multi-agency team. And we always kind of had an issue when we would need it, which we share with the local fire departments. When we would need it, we'd have to go to one of the fire halls and get it, and that'd be a half-hour process to do that. Whereas the M30T, not only was the price a lot better than the M300 that we were looking at, it's now right here in our office, so we can grab it and be on the road in 5 minutes. Yeah,
and that's one of the best things about it. It's so easy to take anywhere. You can store it just about anywhere, and it's quick setup, and there's just, I mean, it's just so many things, and you guys can get into that a little bit more later. But so when you came up to visit with me and I gave you a little tour of the M30T, what was like the first thing that was like, wow, I think this is what we need in our department?
I think the big thing that stuck out to me was the thermal capability with this compared to the one we have now. I mean, it's night and day, totally different. This is way more clear. Just the capabilities with this one compared to the one we have is actually kind of crazy to think about when you compare them side by side. The
capabilities of the thermal camera is, I mean, it's just endless what you can do with that thing. So, and especially for you guys for public safety. So, so after you flew that M30T for the first time, what was there anything that kind of surprised you about it? Like you weren't expecting?
For me, it was the ease of getting it up in the air. I mean, it's no different than a Mavic 2 Enterprise. You take it out of the case, you turn the battery or turn it on, get it linked up, and you're flying. There's no putting pieces together. There's no warm-up time. There's nothing. It's just bang, you're off.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, especially for, you know, like a search and rescue thing, or maybe like a pursuit type situation. You want to get up as soon as possible. And sometimes it takes up to 3 minutes to get, one of the larger matrices up or any of the other drones like that. So yeah, time is critical, for what you guys do. So how do you guys plan to use the M30T? Like, where do you think it'll have the biggest impact for your department?
I think the biggest one is going to be search and rescue. That's always kind of what we've utilized the drone for, fleeing suspects, that type of thing. It'll be interesting to see if we can utilize this for maybe pursuits in town. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure how well it would work,
Sure.
but messing with the tracking capability on here and being able to follow vehicles across town, it just might work.
So do you have a lot of pursuits? Like, are you often chasing people or looking for people?
It goes in swings. I mean, we'll have a couple of months where there'll be one a weekend, and then it'll go a couple months where there's not a single one. So it varies a lot.
Okay. Have you used the M30T in any way to pursue anyone or for any search and rescue since you've had it?
It's funny you mentioned that. So the day it arrived, we had an exercise planned that night, specifically to utilize the drone in our special operations team and the highway patrol tracking team.
Okay.
And it's funny because it showed it was in the mail and on the way, and we were trying every avenue to get it here so we could get it ready to use, a couple of hours from then. And it arrived at the last part of the day, and we got it up in the air, and the ease of use. I mean, we got it, and within a couple hours we were taking it out to go fly it for this exercise we had for as a fleeing suspect / search and rescue. So
cool. So was the rest of your team impressed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We flew them side by side and we compared, and I mean, they were impressed. They think it's going to be a slick tool.
So you say you're like a multi-department, disciplinary group of people. Do you think, how are you going to work with other departments to use this? You've been working with the fire department, but are you going to work in conjunction with everyone and kind of share this device?
Yeah, so it's going to basically be a as needed situation, and if multiple situations arise at the same time, which I mean we're small jurisdiction, North Dakota, so it's not like we're screaming for 10 drones at a time, but
sure.
It allows to be priority takes precedence, and so if the fire department needs it to try and find a hot spot on a grass fire or whatever, or just during scene mop up, we'll gladly take it out and fly for them. Our city fire department has at least one licensed guy with 107, and then our rural fire department, our largest one, has got a couple of guys that are 107 certified. So
okay, and both of you guys are 107, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, awesome. So I think a lot of people would be interested to know how you paid for this. So you received a gift, I believe, and some grant funding for this as well?
Correct. We basically just reached out to area organizations, explaining them what we were doing, trying to upgrade our capabilities of what we had, and not only that, but to add another drone to the fleet, just so that we could have multiples in that case that multiple things would arise, and for ease of pilot ability.
Sure.
Looking at that screen for 3-4 hours at a time, your eyes start to bug out on you, and you're shot. So
yeah.
To have more than one flying at a time or be able to do that helps. But yeah, we just reached out to local organizations, and so far a couple have given some very, very good donations, and we were able to purchase the M30T just off of what we've received at this point.
I think that's huge because, budgets are tight these days and they're getting worse, but there's a lot of people out there that want to help organizations like yours, and they want to help with public safety. And I think it's just a matter of reaching out to, to benefactors and saying, hey, look, we could really help our community by getting something like this. Do you have any grant opportunities, or, you have people that, maybe leave a legacy, they want to leave a legacy to their community. So, I think that's a great thing that people need to understand is if you don't have the funding right now, just take a little bit of groundwork and get out there and find the funding, because it's out there, even in a small community like Jamestown. I think, if you even look in the bigger communities, people are going to have more opportunities there. So,
Yep.
yeah. So you mentioned, having your eyes on the screen for so long. I think that's a great segue into Flight Hub 2.0. That is another thing that came along with the M30T. So what do you think that's going to be useful for your team, and will you use Flight Hub?
Yeah, I definitely think so. We have a command vehicle in our fleet for our special operations that we would go out with. We've also got a van that we're working on trying to get outfitted with stuff. So the ability to have people in that van that can watch a screen while we're flying,
Sure.
and either A, help us look for things that are on the ground, or B, be setting up flight paths for us to go to an area and search it. Takes a little bit of that back brain stuff going on in your own head of trying to figure out where you're going to go next.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great tool.
Yeah. And so I have my Flight Hub 2.0 here. So you guys created a mission in Jamestown. And I think what I'm going to do is, we're not going to do it right now, but I'm going to just hop on here and I'm going to zoom into an area that I'm going to just highlight. I'm just going to put a box around, and that would be an area of interest for you guys to, say that we have a missing child, and, family was on vacation and they wanted to stop and see the world's largest buffalo, and the kid went missing. So I'm going to put up a kind of a flight area of interest, and I'm just going to put it right on the map here. And then if you guys want to maybe a little bit later go out there and fly that location and just kind of show people, how the Flight Hub works, because I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm three hours away from you guys, and we can communicate through Flight Hub 2.0. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a map right now. In case you guys don't know what the world's largest buffalo is, I'll put it up on the screen here. It's pretty cool. So there I put a flight. I just put a box. Oops. iPad, sometimes, there we go. Sometimes the iPad's touchy, depending on where you touch it, it kind of messes up with your flight path. So, but there's the area of interest. If you guys want to just share some of the footage from that would be great. So based on the experience that you've had so far with the M30T, what would you say to any public safety team that is considering getting this drone to help their organization? Like, do you have any advice? Do you have any recommendations or anything like that?
I think it depends on your budget. I mean, like I said, we were looking for the Matrace 300, and you're looking at twice the price of what we have sitting in front of us.
Right.
With the capability is 10 minutes more in flight time. With the other one, you're also looking at like reconstruction of scenes and whatnot. We don't need that.
Okay.
Maybe if you're a bigger agency and that's something you need, you'd look more into that. But for search and rescue, I mean, your bang for your buck is right here. I mean, this is a tool. If you're looking at getting it, get it. I mean, find the funding, go ask those businesses. But if you're looking at getting a drone, this is the one that you want and you need.
Yeah, I think so too. I was immediately impressed the first time I put it up. And I said this in my initial review video on it, is it's definitely fun to fly too. I mean,
oh, yeah.
It's just a beast. It's so fast, and it's the control with the RC Plus, that controller is amazing. So they DJI definitely knocked it out of the park with this drone. So do you guys have anything else that you want to share that maybe the viewers should know, or?
Not that I can think of, other than, like Riley said with the flight time, you may lose a few minutes here and there, but as of right now, we have 4 batteries with 2 more on the way.
Okay.
And that exercise, we flew, what was it,
We had 4 batteries and we flew continuously for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just taking batteries out, hot swapping, and we were able to get 90% battery every time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they charge very quickly.
Yeah, we're looking at adding 2 more. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be nonstop flying.
Right. You'll never run out.
yeah.
So yeah, that's great.
I think the other the other capability would be kind of neat is if we were to add another controller and kind of leapfrog where we can transition from one controller to the next versus coming back to your home point every time.
Sure.
If you have a fleeing suspect and he's a half mile away, a mile away, and you're getting low battery and you got to fly back to your home point, you're spending just as much time going back to where he was, and if not further, if they continue. So if we were able to get another controller, you're able to leapfrog and continue on and get in front of the suspect or just for a search and rescue mission.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
A neat tool that can be used.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, I sure appreciate the time today, guys. I know you guys are pretty busy, and I think my viewers will be very interested in your experience with the M30T. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, guys. You have a good weekend.
You do the same. Thanks, Russ.
All right. Thanks once again to Casey and Riley for meeting with me today. I think it's really interesting to get the perspective from some people that have been flying the M30T. They've been using it on a regular basis. They've been training with it. And, I think the biggest takeaway from this, for me anyway, and hopefully for you guys, anyone that's been looking at something like this, maybe you're looking at the 300 or some other enterprise drone, and then now you're going to think about the M30T just because of everything that it can do for a fraction of the price, and that it was paid for through donations and grants and funding and things like that. So a lot of smaller departments like the Stutsman County Sheriff's Department, their budget is really limited, but there's a lot of generous people out there. There's a lot of generous organizations that want to help their community. So if you're on the fence at all about getting some aerial support, take a look at the M30T. I mean, these guys love it. I mean, they bought it. They came up and met with me, when after I did my initial review, they drove up here, they looked at it, they were so impressed, they went home and they ordered it. I mean, that speaks to this drone and everything that it can do. And I know I've been hyping this drone up for the past 3 videos, but it really is DJI did an amazing job with this drone. And I really think it's going to make a difference in a lot of various departments, fire department for sure, police department, search and rescue, so many ways that this drone's going to be useful. So if you guys have any questions for Casey and Riley, people that have been using this drone regularly, in the field, let me know and I'll pass it on to them. Just put it in the comments and I'll reach out to them. I have a good line of communication with them. They've been awesome. So I've been sharing a lot of stuff with them and they've been sharing a lot of stuff with me. So I'll try to answer it if I can't. Maybe they can. And if they can't, I'll reach out to DJI. So I know it's a big investment and you guys probably have a lot of questions. So put them in the comments. I'm going to read every single comment on this video and I'm going to reply if you guys have a question. So I do have to send this drone back to DJI now. So maybe I'll get the opportunity to use it once again in the future, but it's been an awesome experience and it's really opened my eyes to what enterprise drones can do. It's a very interesting field for people to get into. So, if you want to get into law enforcement or public safety, I think aerial support is one, little area that you guys could look at. If you look at changing careers or you're looking at getting into a career with drones, I would seriously consider public safety just because the technology is getting so great and so fun, so powerful. So anyway, if you got any value out of this, if you learned anything, click on that thumbs up button. I do appreciate that. Subscribe if you want to see more drone videos, more videos like this. We're getting pretty close to 200,000, so hopefully I can reach that by the end of the year. But anyway, thanks for watching today. Have a great day. And as always, fly safe and fly smart.